Welcome to our documentary on an unsung hero in medicine. Today, we turn our attention to a remarkable individual whose pioneering work has left a lasting mark on both plant physiology and bioethics, Arthur Galston. As we journey through his life, we will uncover the story of a man whose scientific curiosity and moral integrity have shaped our understanding of the natural world and the ethical implications of scientific research. Galston's journey began in a city brimming with energy and potential. From a young age, he exhibited a keen interest in the natural sciences, a passion that would later drive him to explore the intricate mechanisms of plant growth and development. Galston pursued his studies with unwavering dedication, earning degrees in botany and plant physiology. His early research focused on the effects of light growth on plants. Little did he know this fascination with the subtleties of nature would lead him into a pivotal moment in history. During the Vietnam War, Galston's research took an unexpected turn. He discovered that a compound he studied, known as TIBA, had the potential to defoliate plants. This discovery was later exploited in the development of Agent Orange, a herbicide used by the U.S. military. Galston was horrified by the unintended consequences of his work and became a vocal advocate against its use. Teaming up with his colleague Matthew Nielsen, Galston presented evidence of Agent Orange's harmful effects to the U.S. government. Their efforts were instrumental in raising awareness and eventually leading to the suspension of its use. Galston's ethical stance and commitment to responsible science remain an inspiration to this day. Join us as we explore Galston's life, legacy, and his groundbreaking research, this unwavering commitment to bioethics.
Arthur Galston was born on April 21, 1920 in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in an impoverished Jewish family due to the Great Depression. Throughout his life, Galston had planned to pursue a career in medicine, but was unable to afford medical school and opted to study veterinary medicine at Cornell University, since tuition was free for New York residents. However, Galston was inspired by Paul de Kruif after reading his book, Microbe Hunters. Because his father had lost his job from the Great Depression, attending school to become a physician would be too costly, and he enrolled at Cornell's Agricultural College. After studying agriculture his freshman year, Galston was admitted to Cornell's veterinary school, but decided to remain at the College of Agriculture to major in botany. During his graduate studies at the University of Illinois, Arthur Galston worked with Harry J. Fuller and Oswald Tippo, where he was introduced to plant hormones and photoperiodism. Because of mandatory military service during World War II, Galston was drafted into the Navy, where he worked as a natural resources officer in the naval and military government on Okinawa. He went on to work in research at Caltech. Once he was discharged from the military, his major research contribution completed there gave him a consultant position at DuPont, where they manufactured explosives and other materials that were used in the Vietnam War. Aware of the government's use of Agent Orange, he joined the Association of Plant Physiology in 1967 as an active opposition to the use of herbicides as chemical warfare. Galston and his colleagues were successful in helping to change the country's policy on the use of Agent Orange, and eventually, President Richard Nixon ordered the end of the spraying at the end of 1970. With the known effects that Agent Orange contained significant levels of teratogenic dioxins, he went on to research the effects of Agent Orange had on genes and the social and ethical consequences of this type of chemical warfare.
When the U.S. military sprayed the powerful herbicide Agent Orange during the Vietnam War to destroy dense jungles and deny enemy cover, they did not anticipate the disastrous health and environmental consequences. One scientist, Arthur Galston, played a key role in exposing the damage inflicted by Agent Orange and bringing about its ban. Arthur Galston was a plant psychologist who originally researched chemicals to accelerate the growth of soybeans. By 1943, he had discovered a substance known as tridobenzoic acid, or TIBA, which promoted plant growth, but in high concentrations caused defoliation. The U.S. military commandeered his research and used it to develop Agent Orange. Galston was personally devastated by the militarization of his research. He became one of the first scientists to denounce the long-term health threats, including cancer, congenital disabilities, and environmental destruction. It was not a simple task to take on the U.S. government's use of Agent Orange. Galston faced professional resistance. Many in the scientific and military communities dismissed his warnings. In Cold War tensions, to query military strategy could be unpatriotic. Despite this, Galston testified before Congress and used his scientific expertise to offer irrefutable evidence of the threat posed by Agent Orange. His persistence caused a growing public outcry and ultimately influenced the U.S. government's decision to end its use in 1971. The fight did not end here, however. Galston worked to help alter the public perception of chemical warfare and to put tighter restrictions on the use of herbicides. His activism opened the way to medical research on dioxin poisoning, leading to better treatment and aid for afflicted veterans and civilians. Because scientists like Galston, the government and organizations are more cautious today in handling chemical warfare, ensuring that scientific progress is utilized ethically and not destructively.
Ngày mà Cộng sản đánh vô Việt Nam á, là cái ngày đó á, là tất cả mọi người xuống hầm núp. Nhưng mà ban ngày á thì ở trên chơi. Nhưng mà lúc đó là nhà mình ở gần phi trường, sân bay nhà mình ở gần sân bay Đà Nẵng á, thì nó đánh vô sân bay nhiều hơn, nên lúc bom dội rầm mà lúc đó ngủ trên giường á là bà ngồi đâu xuống đất hết, rồi chạy xuống hầm nằm cả ngày chứ nó không ăn không uống gì hết, nằm đó sợ lại bò lên ở trên nó nổ bom dội bom xuống quá rồi không có làm gì được hết đó.
We wanted to collect samples of different kinds of food, but also we wanted to know if dioxin was getting into the human beings. And so we collected human mother's milk. In Saigon is the office of the chief midwife, the woman who was in charge of all midwives throughout South Vietnam.
What exactly makes Arthur Galston an unsung hero? Well, despite groundbreaking contributions to biology and his courage to take a stance against the use of Agent Orange, many are still unaware of who Galston is and his contributions. Galston researched the use of 2,3,5-triiodobenzonic acid, or TIBA, to speed up the flowering of soybeans. The British and US military would later use Galston's findings to develop the powerful defoliant Agent Orange. Agent Orange was used against Vietnam in the Vietnam War to destroy crops and leaves, revealing Vietnamese soldiers. Galston was one of the few scientists to openly speak against Agent Orange. Through interviews, broadcasts, and seminars, he detailed the environmental damage caused by Agent Orange. Galston also argued that Agent Orange posed a risk to humans as well. As a result, studies done showed that Agent Orange was associated with birth defects in rats, which led to President Nixon ordering a stop on the use of Agent Orange. Yet, despite his contributions, his name remains largely absent from mainstream discussions of the Vietnam War and the broader conversation on scientific ethics. Galston deserves more recognition for not only his scientific contributions, but also his commitment to scientific ethics. Unlike many researchers of this time, Galston took a stance against the misuse of his research, prioritizing human and environmental well-being over scientific advancement. His advocacy helped expose the dangers of Agent Orange, ultimately influencing policies that led to its discontinuation.
Arthur Galston's life shows how one person can truly make a difference in science, ethics, and society. His research on plant growth, which was originally meant to help agriculture, eventually expanded to governmental research showing how herbicides were misused during warfare.
Galston's ethical integrity led him to become a vocal opponent of Agent Orange, taking a stand against its devastating effects on both the environment and human health. Through his efforts, Galston not only raised awareness about the dangers of chemical warfare, but also shaped the way we think about the responsibilities of scientists in ensuring that their work serves the greater good.
Despite his monumental contributions, not only in the botany field, but also chemical effects on agriculture, Arthur Galston remains largely unknown. His unwavering commitment to truth and justice serves as an inspiration to all of us to remember the importance of ethical responsibility. He's an unsung hero who showed us the importance of ethics in science. His story teaches us that one person standing up for what's right can leave an enduring impact on the world.